Hello and welcome. Welcome and hello, guys. Hello and welcome. It is, of course, Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more. They do call me cornbread because I'm moist, I'm doughy, and I crumble under pressure. As you guys know, my Christian name is Tabasco Rojas, former Montreal Expos relief pitcher. Worst ERA in the history of Major League Baseball, but that's not important right now, guys. What is important is what are we buying? What are we selling? What are we doing? What do you know? What do you say? Guys, it's Un Poco Moss. Let's talk. I just want to talk today. I am going to be quicker than usual, famous last words, but the great Naughty Lurker has joined us, as well as the great Carl C. Mark, Manchester King of Chicago. Two of the greatest in the industry. Of course, S.J. Tavares. What are we doing, guys? What are we assembling an all-star team of commenters right now? Just when you think it can't get any better, the great S.J. Tavares checks in. Not to mention Promo V-Lead. I can't even. Prom Volad. Prem Pert Plus. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Is that a comment on my weight? Let's go, guys. Let's rock. Let's poco. Um, Clap my dog. He's a little bit premature, if you know what I mean. We're talking stocks. We're talking love. What are we talking? RR Family 565. We sell everything. We buy SoFi. There you go. I'm with you. I've kind of been doing that, but there's a few other bargains out there, guys. I'm buying prop. I've been dipping a toe in the water back with 10x. I've been buying, guys. I've been buying a lot of Microsoft recently. I love Microsoft. I sold some there at the top on the pop, like whatever it was, 550, 540. Even sold a bit there, a little bit lower than that, but very happy that I did as things turns out. I was buying some Meta there recently, like whenever it was 620, even before that. So just dipping a toe back in the water. I was buying Nvidia on this last little dip, but nothing captures my attention right now like these two charts. We're talking SoFi. Let's see. Let me pull this up here for you guys. And we're also talking SMCI. Now, with SoFi, you have a couple of lines that are of interest to me. One is this sort of trend line that's been functioning as support since July. You have so many touches of this line. It's just really, really solid. Now, it's broken down slightly a couple of times, but that's just the exception that proves the rule. No support line is going to have an exact, algorithm bouncing off because they can't control it down to the penny, down to the tick. Sometimes news, sometimes, retail can kind of get in the way. Sometimes other institutions, I assume, get in the way, but it's not an exact, science, these ridiculous little lines that, chunky people draw on YouTube. So, but you look at this and you look at what everybody's expecting. I mean, you guys have probably seen, Tanner's video on what he expects with SoFi ER, Roy's video that I just watched both of those, I think yesterday, and both exceptionally, solid analysis. You can't and both of them are kind of arriving at the same place, which is SoFi is going to absolutely crush, Wall Street expectations. I was looking was looking to see if I was on mute. I figure I put the comments where I could see him. Yeah, micro guys, there is really no, stronger buy right now in my buy. I love Microsoft. I love SMCI. I love a lot of stocks. I love CRISPR. I just actually did a kind of an AI thing, but I've been working on this for a while, which is like 10 stocks. These are mostly not AI stocks, not high tech stocks, but they're stocks with extremely high institutional ownership and like nobody's looking at them. Nobody's talking about them. But I feel like these stocks could move anywhere from 60 to 20% this year. Like just I had, and these are just 10. I'm kind of pulling these out of a hat, but I've been working on some more sophisticated screeners. I've been trying to kind of up my AI game to an extent. So this like the first one that has the most potential to move and probably the most potential for loss is Mastercraft boat company. And these just spit Sabers, another one, NX. These just Mastercraft is interesting because it's like 96% institutional ownership as best I can figure out, with about 3% insider ownership and owners buying. And people are like, it's bound for a turnaround. Interest rates come back down to earth. The pleasure boaters oil each other up. You guys ever watch those videos where the psycho is like, not a psycho, but a guy's like following boats around with at Hull over inlet and like boat ramps, like making fun of people who don't know how to back up their trailer? Pretty funny. The people get like furious, just run into things, end up just crashing their boat into a bunch of stuff and just driving off. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, why do I love SoFi still? Remember, guys, when the stock was like $8 and everybody was saying dead stock? Every YouTuber out there was like, "Oh, it's a dead stock. It's great fundamentals, but the stock's just never going to move." And then what happened? The stock just 4x, like lickety split. So when everybody starts talking like that, when everybody starts trying to get you to sell, and again, besides this line, which I think is really sound, taking a look at this like shoulder, where the stock basically sits right now. If you look at this, you can see that more often than not, it kind of sits above this line and then it breaks down a few times just for like one day, here 2 days, 2 days, 2 days. But generally speaking, this line has been pretty solid. Now you have two more trading or three more trading days before an ER that I think is going to be a complete game changer, a statement ER that's going to show that this transformation of SoFi from sort of this boring digital new bank that's just lending and kind of grinding along in the, you know, down in the trenches with other regional banks, and it's just a sort of a fintech and name. I think they're not going to be able to sell that anymore because the revenue mix is going to improve too rapidly. You're going to see where margins are going. I was watching an interesting video. Um, was a guy, he had a ton of U-turd followers, like a couple 100,000, and he compares two different stocks. He's like, this one's great and this one's trash. They both look good. So he does like, CoreWeave and Nebius, or he did this one I saw was it was I think a few weeks ago, but it was Hood versus SoFi, and he looks like he was like the lead singer in a 80s British pop rock band or something. But he's a smart guy, and it was a good video. I watched the whole video, and he's basically like his conclusion was, SoFi is absolute trash, and Hood is like a compounding machine because Hood has all these margins. And I was watching it, struck by how my interpretation of the playing field, was so different than his. I think he was giving an honest take, and he's, a smart guy. Um, yeah. What's up, Domlowski? 3171. Spying at 78, average under 9. That's a good one. It's a good man. Clap, my dog. Jay Ajayi, former running back Jay Ajayi, has joined us. SoFi has a nice product and room to grow in banking. It's amazing people willing to give money to be. I mean, SoFi just takes better care of their customers, and people like SoFi. And SoFi is gaining, brand recognition extremely quickly. Um, Hold on one sec, guys. See what the heck that was. It's heard like a car crash outside my office. Uno momento, por favor. Sorry about that, guys. Soon poco mas. I have no idea what the hell was going on out there. It sounded like some type of a car crash situation, but seems everybody's fine. So I don't know. Hopefully they're fine. But anyway, whatever it wasn't my car. So not really. My car got a total piece of shit Honda. Love that thing. Kind of after the theme of that what was that movie with that one blonde lady's husband and that other guy who's a horribly unfunny comedian. They were working at like Costco. The funny guy was that little Latin friend guy, Jorge. It's the only guy I can remember. Steak Smith. Anyway, sorry guys if I'm not too focused. I'm just kind of an idiot. Anyway, these are these 10 stocks. I'm gonna do a video on these. Let's see if I'm on mute. I'm not on mute. But SoFi, I just think the value right now should be 35 to 40. I don't think they're getting paid for their growth. As I've said a million times, I think they're just dramatically underestimating the CAGR in this company. I think they're still shorting right around 10% of the free float, though that's not showing up yet. I think the main criticisms of the stock is still valuation concerns, which I don't really find warranted because I think the EPS is going to go up a lot faster than these folks think. I think the incremental margins are the key here. I think the product mix evolving to, fee-based products, products that are not even really, I think, known yet. I think SoFi has a lot of stuff up their sleeve. I think the pace of development has been, I think the pace of product introduction is not tied to the pace at which they can develop these products. It's a strategic plan to bring out products at a certain pace and grow responsibly. And let's see, when I take a look at Hood, who everybody is saying like is a superior stock and is a darling, and people aren't necessarily worried about the valuation with Hood. I mean, I just draw the exact opposite conclusion. I think Hood's margins look so good because the business is so concentrated, and that's what makes the stock risky in a downturn. This is kind of the and I own some Hood. I'm not hating the company. They've been absolutely crushing it. In growth, in margins, in acquisition, in share, a lot of different ways. I just don't necessarily believe in this business over the long term and, is going to hold up as well as SoFi will. So you get more upside quicker, but I think the downside could be quicker as well. The margins at Hood are from payment from order flow, options trading, crypto trading, interest on margin balances. These are high margin, low durability revenue streams, at least according to AI. I don't just like, shove this into chat GTP or whatever, kind of nuance it and finesse it a little bit on clipboard. I'm not trying to hate Hood, guys. But when I look at the business, it's just not a business I am confident is going to, compound for the next 10 years, 20 years. I think it could be a high flyer for the next couple years in a bull market, but I think the first real recession could really wipe the company out because there's really no floor to it. So, AI is telling me trading is the most cyclical business in fintech. So, trading activities tied to volatility, retail sentiment, crypto cycles, meme cycles, risk appetite. In a downturn, retail trading volume usually drops 40 to 60%, and that's a catastrophic change for a company with no diversification. Hood is basically a leverage bet on retail risk on behavior. Like I was saying, and AI agrees, Hood has no floor. If the market's slow, trading volume drops, payment for order flow drops, options volume drops, crypto volume drops, margin balances drop. There's no stabilizer, no recurring revenue engine, no diversification. Then this little, $5 here, couple bucks there. That's not like SoFi, who has this entire like bank loan business. It provides a floor. It provides, recurring revenue. Um, and that's the next point they make is SoFi has a floor, Hood doesn't. SoFi has deposits, lending, tech platform revenue, financial services, cross-sell, recurring interest income, a bank charter. Even in a downturn, people keep deposits, pay loans, use checking and savings, use credit cards, use the app. SoFi has durability, Hood has volatility. I've said a billion times, I'd rather have SoFi savers than Robinhood's traders over the long term. Hood's valuation bakes in perfection. It trades like a high growth fintech with high margins, and it is with a clean balance sheet because it does. I mean, they've been absolutely crushing it. I'm not just for me over the long term, I'd rather own SoFi, but Hood has been absolutely, doing incredibly well. There's no denying that. But the market is ignoring, I think, with the Hood valuation, concentration risk, the cyclical nature of the business. I don't know if cyclical is fair, but sort of the market fluctuation. It's cyclical in terms of up and down markets, I guess. Lack of diversification, regulatory overhang, and really high exposure to crypto. It's priced for the real world where retail trading never slows, and that's not realistic. So, that's kind of my take on like my counterpoint to that guy's video. I guess I could do one of those videos where, people go through like point by point and pause it, but I don't want to look at people's hairline for half an hour while I blabber on like a big fat jerk. Um, anyway, I just like if SoFi turns in the type of earnings, which I think is going to be a pretty dramatic beat from analyst expectations, because I think this stock, the company is just hitting this synergy, a tipping point, a moment where, they've done all the hard work, they've spent all the money, they've, acquired the right companies, they've built everything in house, they control their own destiny. I think the costs are going to come down. This sort of headcount reductions they've done a few quarters ago. All this stuff is going to bring down expenses while revenues, come up dramatically, which is going to result in these high incremental margins that Chris Lapointe was talking about a lot, about a year ago. How EPS are like, we're very confident in that 55 to 80, this year because of the way the incremental margins. And I think it's going to go even a lot better than they let on. I mean, SoFi, of course, is always, heavily sandbagging their numbers, but I think that's going to be even more dramatic because I think they're intentionally one of these times going to set up one of these absolutely crazy beats, or they're going to land some big account, something like that. I just don't believe Noto's kind of, you know, Dr. Doolittle here. I don't think gets us back to 30, which is just, yeah, it may not. It may not. It may take a little bit of time. It depends how good it is, Jay Bizzles. I mean, it really depends how good it is. The earnings start to matter at this point. It's not just speculative, it's not negative, it's not 1 cent. You start to get a very clear direction where things are going. The difference between 11 cents and 15 cents is very dramatic. Yeah, filtered tap water indeed. Filtered tap water indeed. Let's see, guys. Getting a bunch of missed calls here. Anyway, hopefully nothing important. So yeah, my argument with SoFi is the same thing I've been, beating the dead horse for years and years and years. You see insider ownership still around 15%. You see institutional ownership, again, at an all-time high, continuing to go up, ever so slightly the last month. But nonetheless, you look at, the stock reaching these all-time highs from this dramatic low of like 12, just 5, 6 months later, it's up at 32. You think institutions, if this was just such an overpriced, meme stock, flash in the pan, they would all dump. But the opposite happens. They continue to accumulate. They sell you a false narrative. I mean, you have Goldman Sachs lead underwriter, Bank of America another underwriter, and they both hit the stock. I mean, Bank of America hit Microsoft hard today for no particular reason. Most other analysts been kind of upgrading or maintaining a buy, like going from 660 to 640. This type. Bank of America, cut their target from like 660 to 520, I think. Reduced their price target on the stock like 20%. Their rationale makes no sense, but it just feels like they want to drag the stock. I mean, I kind of start to see this like little click with Bank of America and Goldman pushing down on certain names, certain Danny stocks, certain stocks favored by the chubby tiny wing investment community, certain stocks featured on the Tebadaki method insiders Patreon course. You guys don't know about it because you can't get in because you're not enough stone. Tebadaki method is a trading method specifically developed for plus-size gentlemen of certain proportions. Nobody stocky, nobody just with a beer gut, nobody a little bit thick. We're talking big boys. You've seen that movie, Fat Boys? Seen old Danny, old cornbread? We're not talking about people watching their carbs. We're not talking about people with an active gym membership. Or maybe like me, you have a Planet Fitness membership still being billed on your credit card, but you haven't been there in like 6 years. You're too lazy and embarrassed to go in and quit. Why are you quitting? Why are you so fat? I'm like, I just don't want to come in. I hate this place. Everything's purple. What are you, freaking Barney over here? Hit the lunk alarm. What about Joey Swoll, Mr. Fitness Positivity? There's so many youth herders who are just doing their thing, and like, I don't even get it. I don't even get what they're doing. I love for the First Amendment audit community. They're definitely shaking the tree. I mean, I say it a million times, guys, till I'm blue in the face. There's only one reason they pound the stock. I mean, even if you put it down here more closer to where it's touching, I mean, it's bashing off this low violently once every month. I mean, the last ER you guys saw, there was buying momentum there over 32. That stock wanted to run. They stepped on our testes with a nice Ben Davis boot. Got a parallel in my hand, size 12. You guys ever just sit down, Llewellyn Moss? Belongs to a fella named Moss. Tommy Lee Jones in No Country for Old Men. What a performance. What a performance. Um, yeah, Neo, is Neo ever going to pump? I saw an article about how, other cars aren't buying into the swap network for specific reasons and, kind of a little bit disheartening, but I'm I hate to think can Neo go it alone, but if they could ramp sales to 500,000 cars this year or more and theoretically get to 1,000,000 cars within another 2 years, if they can get, Firefly hot, Envo hot, it just seems very just logically to me, it seems very difficult for Neo to make the swap network work completely on their own with no other names on the network. It just I don't think they're going to be able to make that profitable over the long haul. There's so much competition in the space. I know the swap is a great differentiator, a great USP, but is it enough? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I continue to hold my position. I've even added some shares. So I have really, I mean, for me, I think they make great cars. I'm a car guy. I think they have an eye on the actual buyer. It's not just the technology, it's not just the robotics, it's not just the self-driving. I feel like William Lee is like a car guy. He has a passion for cars. That's how he came up in the car business, not the vacuum business, not the software business. He's an actual car guy who founded this company. That's why I love Neo. I have a, I, you know, I think they're cool. I think it's a great company. I think people love the cars. I think and that's what I understand in China. People love the cars. It's the premium car people want. These ES8s, they're going to keep being able to sell these out. I mean, I know they made a special edition Envo L80 or what, L90, L80. What the hell is it? But it's a cutthroat business. I mean, only the strong are going to survive. And I thought Swap was going to ensure Neo's survival. And I still feel that way, but I would feel far better about it with some partner cars. Yeah, 45 seems like quite a stretch right now. I mean, that's $20 on top of the current price. So you're talking about a very dramatic move, 70% or more. Um, But I think the fundamentals of the business support that if you're able to have the vision. I mean, you're paying for a bit of hopium. You can't you can't get to 45 right now on EPS multiples even with the growth. Can you get there in another 2 years? Sure. I think people that are looking for 50 this year, I think that's ambitious. I mean, you're looking for 2x just because the stock 3x this last year, at one point in a run doesn't mean it's going to 2x this year. Doesn't mean it's going to do any better than a few percent this year. Could be down this year. The economy could go south. We have to have realistic expectations. Everybody wants their stocks to double every year because they're used to these, Palantirs and hoods and, crypto and just looking for incredible gains incredibly fast and options trading and different stuff. And people, they're not happy anymore with a 20% gain in 1 year, which is insanely good. Yeah, I do too, Billy Jack. I think Neo is a great company. I think they had some growing pains. I think they really got their act together. I think their swap network and their technology are incredibly impressive. Their suspension, their steer by wire, they're just a very innovative, cutting edge company. I don't think they're following everyone else and just trying to do pure full self driving. I think they want people to buy who actually want to drive their cars, car enthusiasts, car lovers. I mean, I know they're targeting families and stuff with Onvo, but I also think just the value proposition of what you get with the battery swap is incredibly, attractive to the consumer. You feel like you're getting a much higher a vehicle one whole segment above, like going from mid-level to luxury or luxury to super luxury. And they have this new SUV come. They're just reinforcing their image. And this wasn't supposed to be a Neo show. Um, yeah, I agree with you. Shikarja Vista. Um, let's see, guys. Sorry, I don't know what the hell's going on. So let's talk a little bit super micro. I just think this chart is incredibly compelling. You see a couple of clear channels, one running about to 47, and then when it exceeds that, obviously it runs up 60s. Um, why do I still believe in management, even though they haven't hired a new CFO? They haven't taken every single action that that committee of one lady suggested they do. Um, I think this is sort of a family business. I think there's a lot of trust between the Wigger and Uncle Chucky, and I think Uncle Chucky realizes that the Wigger was not really engaged in some massive fraud thing that they let, certain controls play fast and loose. They let things get away from them, but there was a lot of smoke here and almost no fire. I just don't see the adjustments that we expected to see, the write downs, the corrections, all the carnage from when their auditor quit. You expected this bloodbath. It just didn't come to pass. I think they were just playing a little bit fast and loose with the controls. They didn't have the right people in place. They didn't anticipate the corporate governance didn't grow alongside the sales. That's what I'll put it charitably. I could just be that could be completely wishful thinking. These could be complete scam artists, and I just don't see it. But I think the sales are real. And my basic thesis on Supermicro is they're going to secure huge orders because that's what they're setting up for. They're building out the capacity around the world. They're, building up their sales for people made sort of a made hay of the fact that their sales force is relatively small compared to Dell and HP. I think that's a good thing. I think they're lean and mean. And I think on these huge data centers for people like Elon Musk, he wants the best price, the fastest time, the easy, lowest cost upkeep, the lowest energy, the lowest cost. Basically, a huge part of that is how much energy does it use and how fast can you get there. I mean, time is money. Obviously, a year versus 6 months to get running is a world of difference in terms of your ROI on these data centers because probably their useful life is going to be all that long. It's not going to be like 50 years. Probably going to be 10 years, 15 years. I don't know. 5 billion revolving credit added in a month. Yeah, it's well, not, not debt capacity, but yeah, you make a good point. Um, SoFi 2026 and 2027 EPS prediction. That's all I want to see here. If you're asking me, I really don't know, but I think they're going to be. I think it's conceivable that they get over 80 cents. I think this business is going to show much more rapid EPS growth than people anticipate. I can't quantify that. I don't have the spreadsheets. I don't have the math. I don't have the TI-85 graphing calculator to show you guys sort of my Peroni's curve in terms of this ramp. The great Katie Wentworth. What's going on, Katie Wentworth? Beach Boy is here. Beach Boy. What's going on, Beach Boy? Um, what's up? Who else is here? Anybody? But my biggest SoFi, Palantir, and New. Can't really argue with that. I would trim Palantir and add SoFi, but I'm an idiot. I'm a strong buy on Bitcoin. I love the chart there. What about these other stocks? Yeah, CoreWeave. I made a $2 billion deal, I guess, today. CRISPR, there was really no news. They pumped it to 60 and then slammed it back down the next day. Acadia was flat. Broadcom gaining their Microsoft. They again kind of followed the Nasdaq, that little curve. Vertex was dipping down about under 400 and said it's going right back up to 500. It seems to be trying to do just that. Yeah. What do I expect from Supermicro? I expect almost $11 billion in top line, and even if their gap net, even if you say 10 billion and you say 5% ultimately, really what does that come down to? Per share at 600 million shares. I mean, you're talking, I don't know. I still think the EPS growth is going to be there, even with the margin contraction. I could be crazy about that. If your sales double and your margins go from 9 to 6, you're still going to have a significant increase in EPS. I mean, you just have to look at it. What's 9 times 5 is 45. What's 6 times 10? It's 60. So you'd have quarter over quarter 33% ramp in EPS, even at those numbers, which I think are a little bit pessimistic, quite frankly. Yeah, guys, I had a lot of physical silver. I still have it, but I was buying some down when it was really cheap, and man, this has been an incredible face rip. I don't know how much of it I'm going to sell. I probably should have sold some today. I don't know. Where the hell do I go? Go down to the pawn shop, get shanked. I don't need any more subscribers. Can't stand the ones I have. Um, can we talk about Iran? I don't see why not. What do you want to talk about? Why do you want to talk about it? What do you like about it? I think people have been jawboning about this stock. Iran fell 6.5% after Nvidia's $2 billion investment with CoreWeave wave competitive concerns for Bitcoin miners, while the broader market remains stable. It took a little dipsky do, a little re-rate there. HC Wainwright 50 80. I don't know. What do you like about Iran? I hear a lot of people talking about this stock. I don't own it, to tell you the truth. Let's see what the chart looks like, just for shits and giggles. Mm, it's pretty good to me. I mean, there's a lot of breakthrough in this area. Volume coming up. A lot of action up here. Bullish action, bullish action, bullish volume. I don't know. The chart and the volumes look very, very bullish to me. This is a lot of buying down here, back in this area when it dipped down into the mid 30s. Just a lot of buying in this area on low volume, and then they killed the volume there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that much about this stock, but what do you like about it? 50, you got low insider ownership, really pretty decent institutional ownership. Um, anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't know Iran that well. I hear a lot of people talking about it, seen a lot of YouTubers talking about it, but yeah, you could talk about it because you know something about it. Um, let's see. Kind of earnings, Jim Cramer. I like you to take profits. Stock it outperformed Magnificent Seven. Let's see. Yeah, I would have to do some research. Is Iran's Microsoft AI cloud pivot reshaping the investment case for Iran? That's an interesting thought. I actually think I clicked on this before, but I forgot about it. Recent months, Iran has shifted from its roots in Bitcoin mining to secured 5-year AI cloud contract with Microsoft, data center hyperscalers, moves vertically integrated AI infrastructure, control over land, power. It's interesting. When to make sense of the portfolio, you have to believe it's pivot. Actually, vertically integrated AI infrastructure can justify a premium valuation despite big execution and funding question. Microsoft AI cloud contract, multi-gigawatt pipeline remain the key near-term catalysts. But the recent burst of analyst upgrades, sharp price swings, the launch of 2x short IREN ETF underline how polarized. Stock's very large. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll take a look at it, but I like the chart. I think it has some nice momentum going right now, but obviously got kind of stepped on today, so might be a buying opportunity. Might not. I really have no idea. Very volatile stock. It's had a nice move here. I mean, I don't know what analysts are saying about it. Who the hell cares? Am I right? Let's see. 8280, 58% upside. Who likes it though? Oh, this guy's pretty good. Know him. Seen him anyway on a few other stocks. Goldman, obviously, shitting where they eat like usual. Reginald is a sell. Citizens buy. These are, these are some good analysts here. This Cantor Fitzgerald analyst, I've seen him before. He's pretty good. I've seen him on TV. I think 136 in a buy. Wow. Compass Point. I don't really trust Compass Point that much. Kind of a Giuliano Bologna five-head situation. Old Nick Giles with B Riles. Good analyst. I've seen his name before. I don't know. I don't know too much about Iran. I'm blabbering about it a lot, but I don't really know anything about it. Anyway, let's see, guys. Yeah, okay, SD bullion for a place to sell. Yeah, I have a few local places I can sell to that give you a pretty close to spot price. Not too bad. Some buying it. I was buying some of it at like $3, I think. 3, 4, $5. I remember, God, when I was much younger, I was buying some silver. I was like, I had it in the closet, like wrapped up in these socks. It's like, wow, this is worth a lot of money now. Let's see. What do you like about it, Katie? What's the big upside here? Yeah, big deal with Microsoft. It just looks like one of those things. It could become a darling. It could make a big run. It could get a huge valuation. Just what deals they have in the future. Do they have more up their sleeve? Are they going to leverage that relationship with Microsoft? Obviously Microsoft's growth is a lot stronger than people would expect given, the price action. I know you do pay a hefty multiple for Microsoft, but it's just an extremely well-run company. But anyway, guys, yeah, I'm going to try to do this video of these 10 weird stocks. Like I said, Mastercraft, SABR was another one, AMR. A lot of these stocks have in the 80s and 90s institutional ownership. Some of them damn near 100%. Again, that's some fishy, accounting when they count insiders and institutions. Sometimes they'll double count just depending on what type of filings they have to make and how, like Fintel or whichever site might categorize those. Sometimes it puts them into both bins. I think, it's obviously not ideal, but kind of figure it out. Mr. Premier, the option would go with Big Bear versus Iran. Interesting. Yeah, people are talking about BBAI is about to make some big run. Iran is the sketchiest thing I ever bought. Jay Ajayi, great fantasy player, Jay Ajayi. I could see it both at 505. Yeah, that's so that. I mean, honestly, some of these things really are a lottery ticket because you're buying, this future roadmap that could just evaporate at any point. I bag hold Neo and prop. I'm not buying it. No, that's fair. I mean, I think, guys, one of the things to keep in mind with penny stocks in particular is like prop. Say you bought prop at 3 and then it goes to 2. We're like, okay, I just lost a third of my value. I'm down. It's catastrophic. Why didn't I use a 10% stop loss? Well, really think about it logically. I mean, the stock has been marched down, say, from 12 to 3, where you bought it, and then it went to 2. Why would you panic? You're never going to be able to call the bottom. If you look at institutions are buying at 8, buying at 10, they're going to swing it back up. Don't be perturbed that you couldn't call the exact bottom. I mean, your tiny weighing, can't mark Twain at those levels. Hold on, guys. I got to run. Sorry. One sec.